All right, we are live. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of I'm Still Somehow Not Dead on YouTube. I am, of course, your host, Trevor Tiger, and welcome back to another episode of Chill Streams. So for this episode, I'm not really... the topic here is just a little bit different than usual. I'm not going to take on a crew. I'm not going to talk about just one simple character. Instead, I'm going to tackle a story arc. This thought came to me literally out of the blue a few days ago, and I thought, you know what, this would be really cool to talk about. So here we are, and as you can probably tell from the title, what I'm going to be spending, maybe the next hour or two talking about would be, what if Zoro's group went to Whole Cake Island instead of Luffy's group? Basically, how this talk is going to go down is that I have pulled up on the One Piece wiki the Whole Cake Island summary arc in the summary, and I have my own notes on what would happen if Zoro's group went there instead of Luffy's. There's really no rules here, no real topics. I'm going to try to be just a little broad. I will get in specifics, but just to keep everyone sane and myself sane, and not go into I'm not going to go into every single little detail here or there. This is just going to be a fun little experiment, whatever. So now, without further ado, let's get started with this talk. So, the Whole Cake Island arc began with Sanji meeting his family. And for the sake of this entire stream, we're not going to really include Sanji or the Vince Smokes that much. How do I put this? For the sake of this stream, I'm only going to focus on the events of what would happen if Team Zoro was there at Whole Cake Island. By the way, I started this entire stream horribly. I should explain who Team Zoro consists of, as you can probably tell from the picture. But anyway, Team Zoro was formed out of the Ninja Pirate Mink Alliance. The members are Zoro, Usopp, Frankie, Law, his crew, Robin, Kinemon, Kanjuro, and Raizo. They were, in our One Piece version, tasked to go to Wano, gather up a resistance, and wait for everyone. For the sake of this video, we're going to make an alternate universe where, for whatever reason, Team Zoro goes to Whole Cake Island instead of Luffy. What's going to happen? I have my notes here. I have the One Piece wiki opened up. All right, so let's get started. So Whole Cake Island arc starts with Sanji meeting his family once again, blah, 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 whatever. We're not really concerned with them right now. In fact, we're only going to focus on what would happen if Team Zoro was there. So really, what would happen is that the arc starts off in Luffy's version when Luffy gets sick from, I think it was his failed cooking arrangement. Luffy failing at cooking. He's like poisoned or whatever. And the entire crew's freaking out. No one knows what to do without Sanji. They're useless. And that's when they meet the Vince Smokes, Reiju and Vince Smokes' son number 4. I want to say Yonji, whatever his name. I'm going to call him Vince Smoke Boy number 4. So yeah, number 4 and Reiju meet Luffy, and they save him from being poisoned. And that's when they're revealed, hey, we're Sanji's family. And everyone's like, what? But in our universe, for Team Zoro's case, it's going to play out just a little bit differently. For Team Zoro, they will be traveling in Law's ship, or should I just say Law's submarine. And since they're in a submarine, they won't really meet the Vince Smokes at all. In fact, I would dare say that at most they would just pass Reiju and Yonji's ship, and maybe so we're just going to bypass Team Zoro meeting the Vince Smokes all together. But maybe we could have a scene where, as the submarine is passing the ship, maybe Nico, Robin, or Law, or maybe one of Law's crew, in order to flesh out the crew just a little bit, they look outside and they see like the number 66 engraved on the ship that they pass. And maybe one of them will just be like, whoa, that's the insignia for the Germa 66, the Vince Smoke family. And in this universe, this is the way we get introduced to the Vince Smokes. One of Law's crew, or maybe Law himself, or maybe just Robin, because she studies the world a lot. Maybe they will explain who the Vince Smokes were. So that way, instead of us meeting them, we just get to hear about them more and more. That way, their inevitable reveal will be that much more powerful and much more impactful. So, there again, Team Zoro will not meet at all. They won't meet the Vince Smokes. They will only observe the ship. They'll pass by it. But as Lost Submarine passes the ship, we then see, who is it called? Aladdin or Aladdin? He's the fish man that's married to, I think her name is Pauline from Big Mom's crew. Aladdin is a member of the Fishman Pirates, or no, not Fishman Pirates, the Sun Pirates, member of Jinbei's crew. And in Luffy's version, Aladdin sees that Luffy's crew has entered Big Mom's territory, and he calls Jinbei's like, yeah, Luffy's here. So make with that what you will, boss. But for the sake of this universe, or this storyline, timeline, whatever you want to call it, Aladdin will see Lost Submarine crossing the Big Mom's territory. Aladdin will call Jinbei, and he's going to be like, hey, boss, just listen to this. Trafalgar Lost Submarine, the former warlord, or current warlord, I don't think it was ever resolved if Law, was out of the warlords just yet. But it's just like, hey, Trafalgar Law, one of the warlords of the sea, he just crossed Big Mom's territory. And Jinbei will be thinking, wait a minute, Trafalgar Law, he helped Luffy that one time. That's interesting. All right, I will definitely keep an eye out on him. So Jinbei in this storyline isn't really going to change, because the whole reason he went to Whole Cake was to quit Big Mom's crew. He's still going to do that, but instead of meeting Luffy, he's probably going to meet Zoro later on the line. But we are far from getting to that point yet. So just to recap so far, they're not going to be the Vince Smokes at all. Team Zoro just passed under their ship in Lost Little Submarine. He's Yellow Submarine. Insert Beatles song reference here. I'm not going to sing because I have a voice to save. And Aladdin sees the crew, forms Jinbei. So the next scene, and again, I'm really going to focus on major plot points in terms of parallel. So maybe I'll always be comparing, when Luffy's team was here, Team Zoro would be doing this, blah, 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 whatever. So when Team Zoro arrives on Whole Cake Island, for Luffy's crew, they dock the Thousand Sunny at a place called, Coca Island. And that's where Lost Submarine will dock to, and the crew will sneak there. Now, in our version of One Piece, how this arc really got underway was when Luffy and Chopper just noticed that all these houses were made of chocolate. So they just started eating all the chocolate, and that alerted the authorities. The authorities were like, how come you two are eating all this chocolate? It's forbidden. How dare you? And then, of course, after they cause the incident, Puddin comes in, instantly gains their trust, and helps out Luffy and their friends. In our storyline, in this alternate storyline, things are going to just be a little different. Instead of Luffy and Chopper causing trouble, I think it's going to be Usopp and Frankie that would cause trouble when they first get to Coca Island. Because Usopp, he's a comedic side character. He's just going to enjoy eating some of these chocolate houses. And as for Frankie, he could just take, I don't believe this house is chocolate. And he just takes a bite out of it like, wow, that is actual chocolate. That is interesting. And then Frankie starts eating the chocolate too. So Usopp and Frankie basically take the place of Luffy and Chopper, just munching on all these houses. And of course, this alerts the authorities. They come over. Zoro, Law, Robin, Kanjuro, everyone. It's just be like, crap, the authorities. All right, everyone get ready to fight now. And that's the thing about Team Zoro. They are just probably itching for a fight. They're more cautious than Luffy's crew, or more than Team Luffy. But of course, just like in our version of One Piece, the authorities will be held off by Puddin. Puddin comes flying in on her magic carpet. I think that's what she flew on in. And this is the part where Puddin, because we already know how this goes, Puddin finds the Straw Hats, and she wants to gain Luffy's trust And then that way, when it's time to backstab them, she gets to backstab them good. In this alternate timeline, things are just going to play a little bit differently. Puddin is still going to save Team Zoro from being, arrested or whatever. So Puddin's going to still bring Team Zoro back to her place. And through her attempts, she's going to try to manipulate them by giving her her own little sob story. But her little story won't be so easily bought by everyone. Usopp and Frankie, Frankie especially, he'll probably buy Puddin's story. He's always emotional. Usopp is just like, oh my god, that's horrible. Robin, she's going to probably be just a little bit skeptical of Puddin because she used to be a child fugitive. She knows how to make a good lie in order to progress in the world. And plus, why would Puddin, this random girl, this random daughter of Big Mom, be suddenly helping us? It's just a tad bit suspicious. Robin is like, Robin in this timeline would just be, how I say it, the older sister of the group. She doesn't really trust anything that's going on. She's always keeping a keen eye, as she should. They're in Yonko territory after all. So after Puddin explains the sob story, Robin's just going to be a little skeptical. While everyone else is probably going to be indifferent. Zoro and Law, they probably don't care about Puddin's little sob story. Just like, all right, cool, we just learned some intel about Big Mom. Neat. But maybe in this version, maybe Puddin notices that, maybe Robin is getting a little bit too skeptical of me. She's getting suspicious. I can't just kill her flat out because if I kill her right now, everyone's going to notice that it was me. So maybe in this storyline, Puddin really tries to get Robin's trust. That way, when the inevitable betrayal happens, it's that much more hurtful. And if she ever does win Robin's trust, like maybe if she does something special, then it just makes the heartbreak all the more worse. Who knows? It's endless possibilities for this case. But anyway, that's kind of the thing. Instead of Puddin gaining everyone's trust so easily in Luffy's case, for Team Zoro, whatever. The scene still plays out the same, but just with a bit more suspicion. So then, the next part of the Whole Cake Island arc is Luffy splits his team into two groups. One group is going to go to Whole Cake Island itself to get Sanji, while the other goes in a different direction to go steal the Poneglyph from Big Mom's fortress. They're both going to Whole Cake Island, but they're taking different directions. So, for Team Poneglyph, on Luffy's side, it was Brook and Pedro. For this timeline, I'm just going to assume that their plans are overall the same. Get Sanji and get the Poneglyph, because that's what Luffy wants in the first place. So, of course, Team Zoro is going to be like, well, that's our plan. We gotta follow our captain's lead, but we're going to go our own way about it. So, for Team Poneglyph, for Team Zoro, who's going to get the Poneglyph? I have here Robin, Kanjuro, and Law. They're going to be Team Poneglyph. And the reason I just chose those three, because they have the best chance. For getting a Poneglyph, Robin. A freaking course, Robin. Like, she knows the Poneglyph. She knows how to read them. Of course, she's going to be vital in, like, actually securing it itself. Kanjuro is the second pick. Why I chose Kanjuro to go help steal the Poneglyph is that his drawings could prove to be a tactical advantage to Team Poneglyph. Like maybe he could draw little birds or horrific-looking birds or different animals that will scope out the environment. Like maybe if they're in maybe if they come across like a forkway, Conjurer will draw like a little doodle bird that flies off in one direction and then make another bird flies off in the other hallway. They scope out the area, the birds come back, it's like, hallway to the right, sir. I don't know how they would communicate that, but hey, just basically go that way. That's the way to the Poneglyph and with no enemies. Cool. So Conjuro could be very helpful in trying to sneak past everyone in Big Mom's fortress to go get the Poneglyph. And for Law, his position will be, he's going to be on Team Poneglyph for two reasons. One would be stealth. For example, his room ability, specifically his shambles power, that would really prove to be quite the useful ability. Because just to give an example, let's say that Law, Robin, and Conjuro are just walking through a hallway. They look around the corner and they see like this guard walking down this narrow hallway. There's nowhere for them to go. So Law notices, oh wait, hey, there are a few barrels that this guard is about to walk past. The guard walks past the barrels. He thinks he heard a noise. It's like, what was that? Starts rushing over to the corner. Law uses shambles to switch them with the barrels. So now when the guard comes looking around the corner, it's like, oh, just a barrel. Cool. And then, Law, thanks to his shambles, is now appeared behind the guard, and they just move on their merry way with no real trouble. And the second reason that Law would be on Team Poneglyph would be because he's going to be the backup power. Because even though this is supposed to be a stealth mission, if Robin or Conjuro get caught by a sweet commander or by Big Mom herself, trust me, we'll get there, they're screwed. They're quite screwed. Robin and Conjuro on their own, they won't be able to put up that much of a fight against everyone. So with Law on that team, not only will he be good to help sneak around, but he has the power to back up the team. He is a very formidable fighter. His room ability is a game changer. If anyone can help take care of the team, if they get caught, if someone really needs to, if a fight has to be dragged out, Law would be the best bet for them. So I think that's what Team Poneglyph would be formed of. Robin and Conjuro for the sake of sneaking around, and having Law there as like personal backup. Now, as for the other team, everyone else, Zoro, Usopp, Frankie, Kinemon, and Raizo, they are going to go through the Seducing Woods to go reach Big Mom's fortress and go get Sanji. And in these Seducing Woods, honestly, it's going to play out it's probably going to play exactly the same way as it did in Luffy's version or our version of One Piece, because the Seducing Woods they trick people. They easily trap whoever goes inside it. And it's already a trap because Randolph, the little bunny warrior that's riding like a crane or whatever, and Brule and Cracker, they're already in the Seducing Woods spraying a trap. So really, nothing's going to really change on scenario-wise. Everyone in the Seducing Woods is still going to fight each other. It's just a matter of who's going to fight who. But in the Seducing Woods, Brule creates like a mirror copy of Luffy to fight, Luffy. So that mirror fight is going to be the same, but in this storyline, I'm thinking, what if it was a mirror fight between Zoro and, a copy of Zoro? How epic would that be? Brule playing a trick just creates a copy of Zoro and meets Zoro, and the two have to fight out. I can't even begin to describe such epic proportions on its own. It's kind of like that filler arc from Bleach where the Gotei 13, the 13 captains, had to fight copies of themselves, and we had that amazing filler fight between two Kenpachi Zarakis. That shit was great. So imagine that, but in One Piece standards. Just have two Zoros duking it out. God, I want to see that, but I'm getting ahead of myself real quick. But let me get some light in here so I can actually take notes. So let's see, yeah. So in terms of a mirror fight, Zoro would fight Zoro. And Usopp, meanwhile, since he's like a natural trickster, natural deceiver, he starts to notice that, wait, this copy of Zoro shouldn't exist. These woods are weird. So Usopp would begin to start to see through the deception. So he's going to go investigating this on his own. He goes past the Zoros, find each other. He's going to try to look for the source of this illusion, which eventually leads him right into Brule. And Brule is going to be like, hello, my pretty, my name is Brule. I have the mirror, mirror fruit. So how would you like to die today? And Usopp's like, I wasn't expecting a fight, but I guess I have to fight. He's trapped in the seducing woods. There's nothing he can do. So I believe that Usopp is going to go fight Brule. And meanwhile, closely behind Usopp would be Kinemon and Raizo. And they're currently duking it out with Randolph, who also just surprise attacked them too. And the reason I pit Kinemon and Raizo against Randolph is because with this fight, we can at least see what Raizo is going to do. We finally, because we know he's a good ninja, but that's it. We know he's good with ninjutsu, but we don't know what other skills or weapons or powers, abilities, whatever. We haven't really seen him do anything yet. So if in this storyline, Raizo fought Randolph the Rabbit, be a great starting point to see, oh, okay, so this is what Raizo is able to do. Cool. So while Usopp fights Brule, Usopp, he may be doing a good job, but this isn't his home turf. Like, the environment, the seducing woods, are literally against Usopp. Like a sniper that's up against an environment, one that goes against him, well, a sniper can do no good. So I'm thinking even though Usopp would put up a good fight against Brule, I think Brule is ultimately going to capture Usopp in the mirror world. So that's one member of Team Zoro down. Usopp gets captured, and we go back to the Randolph fight. And I'm thinking that during the fight, Kinemon gets separated from Raizo. Maybe something in the fights, like maybe Kinemon like falls down like a hill or whatever. Like maybe the seducing woods are trying to pull something, and Kinemon gets separated. Like separate and like divide and conquer for Big Mom's forces. So now it's just up to Raizo versus Randolph. And even though Raizo, I don't want to give him a win. Maybe Raizo would just be, maybe he'll fight a good fight against Randolph. Maybe he'll just get some good blows in, but Randolph ultimately pushes Raizo to a corner, and that's when Brule captures him too in a mirror. So that's two members of Team Zoro down, but they lost Kinemon. Kinemon was separated. Why he was separated, we'll get to that later. But Brule and Randolph are just like, all right, we got them. So what should we do about the swordsman? And I just want like Brule to look through the woods, and they just see like shock waves emanating from like sword strikes, and we see the two Zoros still fighting it out. There's no real winner because it's a stalemate. Zoro cannot defeat his mirror version. But this is where Frankie comes in. I should have put Frankie in here earlier, but Frankie sees that, all right, the real Zoro can't defeat this mirror version of Zoro. So maybe with Frankie stepping in, he gives the real Zoro the advantage. Advantage in numbers, advantage in surprise attacks, whatever. Just by having Frankie help out, Zoro defeats the mirror copy. Huzzah. But since the mirror copy has been defeated, it's time for the next opponent in this storyline. And you all know who's coming. Cracker. The sweet commander Cracker. So this has three possibilities when Cracker just comes on down. It's like, oh, you did good defeating your mirror copy, but now you have to fight against me. You all fell into our trap, and now you're all worn out. So, again, this fight has three possibilities. We could have Zoro versus Cracker, Frankie versus Cracker, or Zoro and Frankie versus Cracker, like a 2-on-1 fight. Let's just start with Zoro versus Cracker. Like, in terms of what would actually make a good fight in terms of the actual story, I don't want to see Zoro versus Cracker in this alternate timeline. Because if Zoro did fight Cracker one-on-one, it would just be a rehash of the Pika fight. Like, let me just I know, before you all start typing in your comments, like, how could you say that? That is the most trash comment I've ever seen in 2017, or that lasts my entire life. Hear me out. Cracker, like Zoro's last opponent Pika, is able to create is able to create substances, an infinite amount of substances, I might say, that will get in the way of a fight, and is pretty good with armament hockey. That's literally, Cracker is literally the Pika to Luffy. So if we just had like a rehash of let's just see. If we just had like a regular rehash of Pika and Zoro, then that would just wouldn't be good at all. In terms of the what could happen next would be Frankie versus Cracker, which would give him a good chance. Which would, you know, if Frankie fought a sweet commander, that would give him a really good chance at character development. Good. I just got caught in the brain freeze because I just said out loud, oh, maybe Frankie could defeat Cracker. You know, have him have a good win against the character. But then I'm realizing, oh, that's right. Maybe Frankie can't be the sweet commander on his own. My mistake. So maybe Frankie could prove himself. Maybe it would be a good fight, but I don't think it would turn out. But the real fight that I want to see, in terms of if you're going to be on Yonko's territory, would be a good 2-on-1 fight with Zoro and Frankie fighting Cracker. A real 2-on-1 fight. Because it's going to be the same thing with the in terms of the mirror copy of Zoro. You don't want just like a 1-on-1 fight again. You want like actual refreshing fight. So with Cracker, if he brings out his armament hockey and starts fighting Zoro, maybe Zoro could cut through that armament hockey, but Cracker would just keep creating soldiers to fight against Zoro. This is where Frankie would come in. Frankie would come in, take care of the biscuit soldiers, and Zoro is just trying to focus on the real Cracker. The two of them work together, find the real Cracker, and just end up defeating him for good. I think that would be a much better way. Like, I can even envision the ending right now. Maybe Cracker, oh no, maybe Frankie, whether it be General Frankie or just on his own, like defeats all the biscuit soldiers, rushes up, grabs the real Cracker like a headlock, and Cracker's like, oh crap, I've been ensnared. And he goes full armament hockey, and he's just like, oh, well, at least I can't be cut now. You'll never be able to stop my armament hockey. And then Zoro is just like walking up to him slowly. He's just like, you know, I fought someone that said the exact same thing, and then just have a quick flashback of Pika. And then with just like one slice, Zoro just slices Pika in half, not Pika, slices Cracker in half. One vertical slash, one shishi son. Cracker's defeated. It's just like, huh, same fighter, same result. Who could have imagined that? If you really want that kind of like badass ending overall. Well, yeah, sorry that I just lost track of mind right there. I don't know, thinking of Cracker and Frankie fighting, just it's cool in concept, but when you actually try to explain it, doesn't work. It does not work. Hopefully this gets better in the meantime. Oh, quick comment. I forgot King Bomb. In this version of the alternate storyline, I don't think there will be any difference. King Bomb was basically just there just to like fill in some plot details. He was just there to fill in plot details about Big Mom. It wasn't really, I don't think he really served much of a purpose, so I don't feel like I need to really include him in this alternate version. Like, if a character has the same role overall, then of course I don't have to say anything. It'd just be a kind of, just be a little bit redundant. So yeah, maybe Zoro and Frankie together, they take down Cracker. Huzzah! Go us! Go Team Z! So they defeat him. So just to recap, just for a quick recap, so I don't lose my own notes here. Robin, Conjuro, and Law are in Big Mom's fortress trying to find the Poneglyph, sneaking around. Kinemon and Usopp have been I'm sorry. Raizo and Usopp have been captured by Brule, and Zoro and Frankie defeated Cracker on their own. Good work, good team, thanks to the power of teamwork, and progressed forward. And this would lead to the infamous scene of where they meet Sanji again. Because after Luffy defeats Cracker, he goes down to, I forget the name of the field. Maybe it is just like a wide field, but it's a wide field with a single road. And here comes the Vinsmoke carriage. And then Sanji steps out, and Luffy's like, Sanji, I found you. And then Sanji just like decks him in the face. And it's just like, you pirate scum. This version, I feel like, would be more satisfying than... I feel like this version would be more satisfying than Luffy fighting Sanji. I know it's a very heartfelt moment, but at the same time, I feel like this alternate storyline, which I'm about to propose, may be a little better, because this time, instead of Luffy fighting Sanji, it's going to be Zoro meeting Sanji. And these two have always comedically fought before in the past, but this time, when Sanji has to prove his alliance to the Vinsmokes, and has to, of course, fight Zoro just to prove his loyalty, that's going to be heartfelt. And I'm trying to find a way to explain all this well. Basically, how do I say it? Like, with Sanji and Zoro, the two of them have always fought. They never got along. But it was always in like the playful nature of the story, never focusing on a serious attribute. They just didn't like each other. They're kind of like bad siblings in that way. But here, in this alternate storyline, where Sanji actually has to be merciless, this gives like a real sense of, oh, this is a real Zoro versus Sanji fight. No one's holding back now. Sanji is just like, oh, crap. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Zoro's realizing, oh, Sanji's actually trying to fight me now. This isn't for games or anything. This isn't just like a sarcastic way of saying hello. This would be a full-on, like, man versus man. Zoro has to confront Sanji. And the bottom line that I'm trying to reach here, and I'm really trying to find words to explain it. But it's just, how do I put this? Since, throughout One Piece, when Zoro and Sanji fought each other, and it was for only comedic side effects, in this fight, Zoro can tell that, oh, Sanji's not fighting the same way as he used to. Maybe, like, since they fought so many times, he can tell that something's wrong in this scenario. Like, there's an instinct inside Zoro that's making him realize there's something not right here. I mean, we fought before, but something's different. He's not giving me his all. He's not going with the intent to kill, that kind of stuff. And so Zoro would realize, I think I kind of get what's happening here. You're being forced to fight me. Of course, you're a real Straw Hat member. You didn't really betray us. Blah, blah, blah. He's like making the internal realization. Because even though Zoro's dumb, he knows how, like, his crew thinks. He has shown in the past that he knows how his crew thinks, what they feel, and what's really best for the crew. So I think Zoro would start to realize, oh yeah, Sanji, this isn't himself. And Zoro finally begins to realize there's only one way this can end, and in order for Sanji to get away clean scot, Zoro's just gonna stand there, open up his arms, just like with Mihawk, and Sanji takes the opportunity, gets the Diable Jambe ready, rushes Sanji, and right before Sanji decks Zoro in the face or chest, Zoro's just like, one day I'm gonna get you back for this, Arrow Cook. And then boom, have the iconic shot. Have Sanji just deck Zoro right in the face or the chest, knock him down. Sanji still proves his loyalty to the Vinsmokes. The end for that part. And now since Sanji proved his loyalty, he gets back in the Vinsmoke carriage. And this is the part where, in our version of One Piece, Nami scolds out Sanji, not really understand it. I think a similar thing would happen with Frankie too, because Frankie, I mean, he's been on the crew for a long time, but he doesn't know Sanji like Zoro knows Sanji, if that even makes sense. So Frankie, because he's really overly emotional, he's going to be like, how could you do this to Zoro? We came all this way to save you. This isn't super. I sounded so dumb saying that. But again, everything I sound is pretty dumb anyway. But basically, Frankie's just like yelling at Sanji, and this is where Sanji's just like, damn it. So Frankie is just left to care for Zoro while Sanji gets away. And this is the part where Big Mom's army, in retaliation for Cracker's defeat, starts forming together and starts marching right towards the group. So, in our version, Luffy and Nami had to fight Big Mom's army, but in this alternate timeline, or storyline, I should say, Frankie goes to Zoro, and Zoro is just like, do you hear that? Do you hear the marching? And Frankie's like, yeah, I can see him too. Helps Zoro up. The army starts coming closer with Prometheus and Zeus, like the clouded sun. They're approaching everyone. Like they form together, form the storm clouds. The entire army's rushing them. And Zoro looks to Frankie's just like, you ready to go down swinging? And Frankie's just pounds his fist and he's like, I'm super ready. And then I want one of those like cliche shots where it's just like, you know how when one villain group charges another group, it literally on one side you go, ah, and then the other side go, ah, and then it would just go back and forth going, ah, oh, ah, ah, and then just like one big giant clash at the very end. I want that. Except we're not going to do the cop out where it's like, oh, the ultimate the clash, and then we just cut to another scene. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that here at all. But what would happen next is that how this fight between Zoro and Frankie and Big Mom's revenge army would be what I really want to see is a lawn fight, but done in panels. And what I mean is that for each panel we see, I want like a timestamp on it. Maybe like one panel could say 7:00 p.m. And on that panel you just see like Zoro doing a Daisen Sekai on just like maybe like a giant. And then the next panel, 7:05. Frankie uses his general form or whatever, and just smashes the ground, smashes some of Big Mom's minions away. 7:08 p.m. Next panel. Zoro takes care of an enemy, but is immediately decked in the face by maybe a sweet commander or whoever. 7:11. Not the restaurant, actual time. Like next panel, 7:11. General Frankie blows up. Like too much damage to the General Frankie suit. There's too many army. Frankie's overwhelmed. The suit blows up. Frankie flies out and crashes into the ground. And then maybe in the next panel, Zoro's in front of the explosion. Like one of those shots where like there's just a fiery inferno behind Zoro. Meanwhile, he's just clashing swords with another person. Next panel, 7:15 or whatever. Frankie is like kicked to the ground. He's just about done. 7:17. Next panel. Zoro is starting to get just like there's too many people for him to take care of. He starts and he's already worn down. He fought a mirror copy of himself. He had to fight against Cracker. And the God Emperor Boz, he made just a pretty good comment where Cracker and Luffy fought for 11 hours. That just for the sake of storytelling, I believe that maybe just like Zoro and Frankie combined could just make this like a one-time fight or whatever. But Zoro is already worn down from his fight with Cracker, his fight with his mirror version. He took a Diable Jambe to the chest or face, whatever, and now he's just fighting an army, ultimately by himself now. And this army is like a Yonko's crew. There's no way he was gonna like even Zoro, I feel like can't take all of them by himself. So maybe like 716, maybe like a sword is knocked out of Zoro's hand, like he just can't go on anymore. 717, Zoro just looks over, sees Frankie on the ground. Frankie's ready to just like maybe get impaled by a sword or whatever, and then maybe just goes to like the next panel, present time. And it's like Zoro just says, "All right, I'm done. We surrender." That way, in this way, Zoro isn't truly knocked out. Like, because we still haven't seen like Zoro's full potential in this time skip era. That like he still has so much more. But at least with this version, when he surrenders, he's defeated, but we didn't get a cop out where he's just knocked to the ground. Like, of course he's gonna get some damage in, like he's gonna get some damage done on him, but at least he's not knocked out. At least he's not like just flat out destroyed. He's just like, we have to admit it, I'm worn out, I can't fight for much longer. That's it. So then that's when Zoro and Frankie are captured and they're thrown in a jail cell. So just to reiterate, Zoro, Frankie captured, Kinemon still separated from the group, and meanwhile, we then cut to the Team Poneglyph, Law, Robin, Conjuro. At this point in the story, Brooke and Pedro had to separate so that Brooke could go inside the Poneglyph room and steal it from Big Mom. So how this was done is that Pedro went out to the courtyard and made a distraction by fighting Tamago. And I'm still thinking that's going to happen, but instead of Tamago fighting Pedro, because Pedro is nowhere to be seen, he's not on Team Zoro. But what I figured would be a good substitute would be Kinemon. Like maybe while Zoro was clashing in the Seducing Woods, maybe everyone was just focusing on Zoro, Frankie, Usopp, and Raizo. That Kinemon separated, lost in the woods. It's just like, I don't know where anyone is. And he just makes it out of the woods. All right. And using his ninja skills, as shown in Dressrosa, when he brilliantly disguised as Doflamingo, he's able to get inside at least Big Mom's home territory. Because let's face it, if Kinemon could get through Doflamingo's castle when it was under a bird cage and all of his strongest were there and on the search for any intruders, and he still made it that far under a bad disguise, I'm not so like out of the line of disbelief to say that, oh yeah, maybe Kinemon was able to make it to Big Mom's fortress. I mean, if anything, for this arc on Luffy's side, on our One Piece, Oda proved that, oh yeah, Brooke's going to be like the MVP for this arc. And we are all like, no way, Brooke, no. He's not going to do anything super cool. And then after he was done with Brooke, we're all just, oh wow, Brooke, good job. In this storyline, it's going to be the same way, like the same kind of impact, but with Kinemon. Where it's just like, oh, Kinemon can't do anything like super cool, but he made it to Big Mom's territory, and everyone's just like, good job, Kinemon, you made it. I mean, we can't really explain how, but you made it. So anyway, instead of Pedro versus Tamago, we need like the Tamago fight. So maybe Kinemon has to fight Tamago now. And this will play a later... the outcome of this fight will play a later role here. I wrote down my notes later. But I want to assume that Kinemon is on the same level as Pedro, if not better, because we don't really know like the absolute sword limits on Pedro and Kinemon. So for the sake of this storyline, I'm just going to assume that Kinemon is on the same level or better than Pedro. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not really certain, but in terms of fighting Tamago, at least, I think Kinemon would still like put up the same or even better level of fighting than the version that we got in One Piece. So Kinemon would fight against Tamago. The fights would kind of still stay the same. Kinemon inflicts like the deadly wound. He, just like Pedro, slashes Tamago in half, and then Tamago is reborn as the infamous Count Chicken, lord of all sword-wielding poultry. You think I have a joke? You think I have something for that? I don't. I really wish I had something for that. I really wish I had like a pun or joke or anything, but nope, I do not. But the reason I pull this fight up at all in the first place is because this will play a role later. And the ending is crucial because in our version of One Piece, the way this fight ended was it's revealed that Pedro was like on his last leg of life. And so Pedro's like, you know what? I'm going to die, but at least I get to take you down with me. Tamago rips off a shirt, shows a bomb, rushes Tamago, or I'm sorry, Count Chicken. And Count Chicken's just like, oh no! And then just a giant explosion happens. And we're only left to assume that everyone in that area just burst into flames. After that mess, in terms of this storyline, at least, I think it's gonna have like a similar side effect, but like a similar outcome. But the circumstances are just a little bit different. Maybe as Kinemon is fighting against Count Chicken, one of the minions is like, man. Count Chicken may need some help with this. Maybe he throws like a grenade or something, and Kinemon using like his fire sword slashes a grenade and it still causes an explosion. Or maybe we can have one of those classic anime manga shots where it's just like Count Chicken rushes Kinemon and Kinemon ignites his fire sword. Two of them clash, like a burst of flames happen. I promise this is leading to a payout. Like it's leading to a payoff. But basically, same outcome. Well, similar outcome, different circumstances. Pedro and Kinemon will fight. No, not God. I can't speak today. Count Chicken and Kinemon will fight. And we won't see either of them for quite a while now. So meanwhile, we finally cut back to Robin, Law, and Kanjuro, who are inside Big Mom's fortress. Like they're very close to the Poneglyph room. And like I said before, these three, like their abilities will be able to prove essential in terms of stealth capabilities, like sneaking past everyone. Like maybe Robin could grow some arms out of the ceiling or whatever. And if someone was like close by, the arms would grab the group and just like like fling them up to the ceiling to avoid detection, like all Spider-Man style. Again, Kanjuro's drones can scan out the area. Law, if need be, he can either fight people or he can use shambles to instantly teleport everyone away from danger. But anyway, the point is, in this alternate timeline, Law, Robin, and Kanjuro finds the red Poneglyph. They find it at long last, and Law is thinking of a strategy. Like, wait a minute. This is probably going to be one of the most secure rooms in Big Mom's fortress. We cannot just, like, all of us cannot go in that room. So I have a plan. And Law's plan is going to be this. Law and Robin would jump down into the Poneglyph room and start copying it. You know, Robin will copy the Poneglyph, and Law, meanwhile, will be like the watchdog, like the keeper. What am I saying? Just have Robin's back. Meanwhile, Kanjuro, maybe like in a room above or whatever, is currently drawing birds or whatever, like doodle birds, any kind of doodle. That way, when Robin gets the Poneglyphs copied, Law uses his shambles to switch out Law and Robin with the two birds or with the two doodles. That way, yeah, in this scenario, if they get caught, Law would just go shambles, and instead of like anyone fighting Law and Robin, they would fight two little doodles instead, and they would get the drop on the enemy. It's like, where did they go? And then they could just make a break for it. That's the plan here. And as Captain Cold from Legends of Tomorrow, or The Flash, I should say, when it comes to plan, there are 4 steps. Make the plan, execute the plan, realize that the plan is going to fail horribly, prepare for all hell breaking loose. So, Law and Robin decide to go with the plan. Conjuro, start drawing a doodle and get ready for us to shamble and run if the case need be it. Because Law and Robin, they start going down, they start doing work. And remember, in our version of One Piece, we didn't get a simple, like maybe, oh, a minion walks in on Brook as he was copying the information, fights him. No. Well, I mean, kind of. But the real twist is that instead of instead of the soldiers or the minions fighting, it's Big Mom that walks into the Poneglyph room and fights Brook in probably the most epic panel of the entire arc. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a very similar thing where Big Mom enters the room and she's just like, well, what do we have here? Is someone trying to steal my Poneglyph? And everyone's just like, oh, fudge. So, since they weren't expecting a Yonko, Law and or Robin would just yell up to Conjuro, and it's like, Conjuro, get the doodles up now! Draw faster, go! And then Big Mom would just notice, just like, wait a minute, who's your friend? Do you have a friend nearby? And Law or Robin just realized, oh, they just ruined the plan. They just told Big Mom their little escape plan. So Big Mom is just like, well, I think I'll deal with you. Smoothie, go take care of the trash for Mommy. And then Smoothie will, using her powers, will go either bursting through the ceiling or bursting through a wall, whatever, finds Conjuro, and Conjuro's just like, well then. And maybe just as a comedic effect, maybe Smoothie just bursts through, finds Conjuro hiding, and Conjuro and his failed doodles, they just scream in unison, just like, no! So, in terms of Smoothie versus Conjuro, the same thing with Rizzo and the Randolph fight. Maybe Conjuro will be able to, do some good, but I don't think it's going to prove any, it's not going to do any merit because, Conjuro was just surprised by the enemy. Ironic for a ninja to be caught by surprise, right? So Smoothie with the element of surprise, with her power, just overwhelms Conjuro. In fact, it's kind of fitting in a way because Smoothie's power is liquid based, and well, liquid substances get in the way of ink drawn. So Conjuro is basically just useless. So take back everything I said about Conjuro doing some good. He's useless now. Gone. Out of the equation. Forever. So Conjuro gets captured. And this just leads to Law and Robin versus Big Mom. Imagine that! I'm very hyped about just thinking about that. It would be truly spectacular to just see that kind of fight. Just for a few potential possibilities off the top of my head. Maybe Robin just grows giant arms to put Big Mom in a headlock, or she's trying to take the giant arms and just flip her over. But then Prometheus, the sun, it flies in and just incinerates the grown arms of Big Mom, and Robin's attacks are now just basically useless. Maybe Zeus, the cloud, is gonna fly in towards Robin like thunder erupting or whatever, and Robin's just like, Law, take care of this, and then Law just goes shambles, switches places with Robin, and just does oh crap, what was it called? But anyway, it's just he slices Prometheus and Zeus in two, and it's gonna be a fight just to survive. It's not gonna be a fair fight. Of course not. It's a Yonko, for God's sake. We're not gonna go like get an easy fight. Um, it's just gonna be just doing their absolute best not to be slaughtered. So Law and Robin will do their best to fight against Big Mom. Ultimately, they will fail. Maybe they'll do some flashy moves. Maybe they can actually get a blow in together with teamwork. Like maybe Law could create like a gamma knife, and he uses Shambo. Like he charges Big Mom, but he does a Shambos on the gamma knife, swaps it out with like he gives the gamma knife to one of Robin's giant arms that spew from like the wall, whatever, and through a surprise attack, strikes Big Mom in the back. That kind of stuff. Like get a flashy move in, but still, it's all gonna be useless. So kind of exactly like the Brook scenario or the Brook fight. Brook is pinned against the wall, and he decides to go down fighting, but gets crushed quite easily, I might add. But in this version, in this timeline, what's interesting is that maybe Big Mom will corner Law and Robin. And what's interesting to note here is that Law and Big Mom kind of have similar devil fruit powers, in a way. What I mean is, Big Mom has the power to manipulate lifespans, but Law has the power to create the ultimate lifespan, a lifespan of immortality. So like that kind of that brings like a new devil fruit parallel for like to be exploited upon. And maybe we can have like a really good character moment with Robin and Law, because for Big Mom's lifespan manipulation power to work, she actually needs to see the fear of her enemies before she takes anything from them. Like you have to be scared in order to lose your life, which kind of weird devil fruit power aspect, but whatever. It's Oda. So maybe we could have a scene where Big Mom corners Robin and Law. She goes over to Robin and it's just like, "So, my pretty, are you afraid of death?" And Robin, just used to this kind of crap, is just like, "No, I'm not ready. I mean, like, no, I'm not scared of you. Bring it on." She could just scroll like maybe 10 more hands doing the like, "Come on" hand gesture. So Big Mom's just like, "Oh, I see. Fine. Maybe you're not scared," but she slowly turns towards Law, like, "What about your friend? Is he scared?" And then we have like a moment with Law where he's just like going flashback throughout his life, like, "I'm not scared of death. I fought. I've done everything I can to move past it. If I die, then I will die. Whatever." But then we have a scene where it's like, thanks to Luffy and Corazon and Doflamingo's defeat, Law has a chance to be happy. But now in the face of Big Mom, that happiness is just turned into fear. It's like, I thought I moved past death, but now, inadvertently, thanks to my new friends, I'm now kind of scared of dying again because I don't want to leave it. And that would be a great moment. And then Big Mom's just like, "I smell fear." And then, I guess for whatever reason, she just doesn't kill Law flat out. Maybe she just like steps on them or whatever, and they're defeated. So just like in our version of One Piece, this alternate timeline pretty much ends the exact same way. Because since they were reckless, well, reckless in nature is just part of the thing, I guess. But because of that, Zoro, Robin, Raizo, Kanjuro, and Usopp, all of them are captured. And Kinemon is nowhere to be seen. All we can see is just like a explosion, whatever. Leftover explosion. So everyone has been captured, and Usopp and Raizo are currently in the mirror world. So this is the part of the story where everyone is like at their lowest. And then in our version of One Piece, Chopper and Carrot in the mirror world make their breakout scene. Or they find a way to escape Brule, and that's when everyone starts fighting back. It's kind of the same thing here. where Usopp and Raizo are in the mirror world. They've been captured. They're being they're being hung over a cauldron or whatever. And meanwhile, in the cell where Luffy and Nami was, we could have Law, Zoro, Robin, and Frankie chained up together. And what I want, and what I really want, is for Frankie to be like, to have the most chains on his body, just because of his overall size, and because like he's a cyborg. Who knows what he has under his body? So Big Mom's just like, put more chains on him this instant. So we have just like simple like shackles, like, all right, Zoro's tied with shackles to his arms, Robin's tied with shackles to her arms, Law, same thing, and then we have just like Frankie, 35 goddamn chains strapped around him, bound tightly, and Frankie's just like losing his mind, like, get me out of here, whatever. Just fun little comedic effect, whatever. And this is the part where Big Mom is like, oh, hello, my dearies. This is what happens when you cross me. And then Zoro's just like, man, I can't wait to kill you. Just like Luffy's like, man, I can't wait to defy you and beat you up. So Big Mom is just like, I'll teach you some respect. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kanjuro, where he's imprisoned. I'm going to say, just for the heck of it, I'm assuming that maybe like he's probably being held in the same cell as Zoro, Law, Robin, and Frankie. He's being held there too. Whatever. It all fits in the grand scheme of things, because ultimately Jinbei arrives and breaks the Straw Hats free. Just like in our version of One Piece, Jinbei is the one that ultimately saves the day. And when Jinbei defeats, what was his name? The Slime Man. Opera. That was it. Opera. When Jinbei knocks out Opera, he sets everyone free, and Jinbei's like, "All right, I got you out of here, but now we gotta run like crazy." And so they start making their escape. And meanwhile, in the mirror world, Usopp and Raizo, they make their escape. Like maybe Raizo pulls like a ninja vanish move or whatever. Or maybe Usopp is able to like unbuckle something from his pouch, or unbuckle his pouch so that a seed falls down. And when the seed just pops when it hits the ground, causing mass hysteria for Brule, Randolph, whoever else is in the mirror world at that time. And the resulting chaos allows them to escape. And yeah, so basically this is all just like the largest, it's the largest prison break. So while they're escaping, Kanjuro, in a comedic moment, but epic moment, like as everyone's running out of the castle, Kanjuro sees through a mirror Raizo running through like one of the mirrors. And he's just like, Raizo, is this one of your ninja moves? And he jumps through the mirror as well, joining up with Raizo and Usopp, and it's just like, whoa, what's going on here? And just like, where are we? Blah, blah, blah. Comedic effect. Comedic moment. Ha, ha, ha. So meanwhile, everyone is moving out of the way. Eventually, they all reunite outside of the castle again. Maybe like Raizo, Kanjuro, and Usopp jump out of the mirror and reunite with Law, Zoro, Frankie, and Robin. Everyone's reunited with the Jinbei, and they all make their way. Now, at this point in our timeline, this is when Sanji breaks. Like, this is when Sanji starts making this breakout, and he just does like a sweet Diable Jambe to Bobbin's head. He defeats Bobbin. He's making his escape too. And this is the part where Sanji meets Luffy again, and it's just like, oh, heartfelt moment. It's going to be the same thing in this scenario, basically, pretty much, where Sanji breaks out of the castle, and he sees all of his friends there in the field. And this leads to, like, a silent moment where the crew is just like, he's back, we know what you did. And then Sanji's just like, I'm sorry, I don't deserve any of this, blah, blah, blah. Heartfelt moment, but then Zoro comes up, goes up to Sanji, decks him right in his gut. And then Sanji's just like, don't worry, I can take it. And then Zoro's like, I didn't punch you for revenge. And he's just like, what? I told you I'd get you back for this one day, Arrow Cook. And then Sanji's just like, starts crying because it's like he knows that, oh, all right, I'm part of the crew again. And everyone else should just understand that Sanji is just like, he did what he had to do. Because Usopp is a natural liar. Robin has lied for her entire life to protect herself and her friends. And Law, he lied because of family reasons. Same thing as Sanji did. So really, everyone is understanding of Sanji's situation. And it allows for some character development. And this is when I say that, oh yeah, there's more character development here than when Luffy and Sanji had their little heartfelt moment. I mean, yeah, it was heartfelt, but in this timeline, I feel like it could be more heartfelt because there's more people involved. So this is where the two timelines start to converge. Like there's going to be a lot of similarities from here on out because Luffy, like the One Piece version that we have and my version of One Piece for this stream, they're going to be really similar from here on out because now we have to go see Beijing because Jinbei and Beiji are just like, we need an alliance to take down Big Mom. And Beiji's like, yeah, I guess I do. Why do I sound like that? I'm terrible today. Basically, Jinbei and Beiji are just like, yeah, we need an alliance to take Big Mom down. This is our chance. If we get the Straw Hats' help, we actually might be able to do this. They're known for making miracles, for God's sake. So, Team Zoro and Jinbei go to Beiji's hideout. And everyone else, the plan overall is still the same. Except Luffy won't be jumping out of a cake with hundreds of mirror versions of himself. No, the plan is basically what it was originally supposed to be. Beiji is going to come inside the wedding as the chief of security. When the time comes, he's going to open himself up. Everyone's on Team Zoro, Jinbei, all of Beiji's men. They're going to fly out of his body. They're going to cause enough noise so that someone destroys Mother Camo's photo. Once that photo is destroyed, Big Mom will be vulnerable, and that's when they get the poison missiles, strike her down, the end of the Yonko. Plan is still the same, but there's going to be just a little bit different circumstances. There's no real flashy entrance for Luffy. There's no like individual flashy moment. It's just going to be just basically in like one wide shot panel, just Team Zoro leaping out of Beiji, just everyone leaping out. Instead of just having like one character have their moment, everyone gets to have their flashy entrance moment. And this is when the chaos begins. Fighting just breaks out all over the place. So while everyone clashes at the big surprise, we do have this does lead to some creative possibilities for fights. One fight could be Usopp versus Katakuri. Hear me out. Please, I am begging you. Hear me out. Because Katakuri's whole stick is he can see the future. And he's a pretty good shot with the jelly bean. But that's his stick. He can see the future. So in a fight between a sniper and someone who can see the future, that has some really cool combat potentials. That could be a really great fight. Like, how can a sniper fight someone that can see the future? How does one even like try to formulate a plan? Do I have to extend my planned attacks to a wider range? Do I have to be more narrow? That kind of stuff. That would be a really cool fight for Usopp to have. And, just to play it safe, we could also have like an R version where Usopp is joined by Beiji and Jinbei, who also like partake again in the fight against Katakuri in the official story. Another cool fight that could happen would be Robin versus Smoothie. It's a little far-fetched, I know, but there is still some good combat potential. Like, how can Robin really, like, grab something that can turn into a liquid substance and be really slippery, all that kind of stuff. There's no way to really defeat her, but there's some interesting combat potentials. And meanwhile, while everyone's fighting, now we have to destroy Mother Caramel's photo, which has many possibilities. Basically, anyone could do it. You know, Usopp, like, he could fire a shot at Katakuri, Katakuri dodges, but Katakuri just realizes, like, wait, by dodging that, oh crap, the shot, like, since I dodged, the shot is now going directly towards Mother Caramel's photo. Mother Caramel's photo is destroyed. We could have a moment where Raizo just using his ninjutsu, like he could use a disguise of some sort, like Brook did. He could do like a smoke effect, whatever. Just burst through, smash the photo. Tanjiro, kind of same thing with Usopp. Just send something out to like just do a quick hit against the photo. The really epic kind of way for this to go would be, what if Zoro just like took one of his swords, unsheathed it, threw it, just like in a perfect straight line right towards Mother Caramel's photo. The sword passes Big Mom, and Big Mom is just like, oh no. The sword slowly stabbed through the picture, right through Mother Caramel's mouth. and since like it's the sword that just cuts through, the paper's already like crumbling up at the sheer like impact, the sheer kinetic force from Zoro's sword. And it's just like Big Mom is just staring in slow-mo fear and in total disbelief. The sword just went right through the photo. And just to make it more epic, the sword hits a wall with Mother Caramel's photo on it, and the photo just splits in two, and just like it flies off into the wind, never to be seen again. And that's when Big Mom would let out a scream. Though there are many possibilities, because really anyone can break the picture. Everyone on Team Zoro has like a really good chance to break the photo. But this is where it gets really similar now, because Big Mom, once again, she loses her emotions, and because of her like supersonic shrieks, she destroys the photos. I mean, not the photo. Wow, I cannot talk today. No, Big Mom's supersonic shrieks destroy the poison missiles that Beijing was going to use. She broke Caesar's emergency glass mirror escape route that everyone was going to use. By the way, Caesar is in this story, by the way. I completely forgot about Caesar. His role's basically the same in this Ultra timeline. Whatever. It looks like the plan has failed, and this is when Beijing turns into, what was it, Father Castle, where he just turns himself into a castle. You know, the castle that looks like if the Rock Fighter had sex with an actual castle. You know, the Rock Fighter from Neverending Story? Yeah. He just got drunk one night and just did it with a castle. That's how Beijing's ultimate castle defense was formed. You learn something new every day, kids. So everyone is just, he forms the castle, and everyone's just like, well, the plan failed. Time to retreat into this fortress for a little bit. And so everyone just retreats inside the castle. And Big Mom, like, she starts to come to her senses, and she starts storming the castle, just punching it. And that, my friends, up to this moment right here, that is all we got so far for, like, an Ultra timeline. Because from here on out, it's speculation. Because for the purpose of this stream was just to be like, oh, what if, like, Zoro's team that was supposed to go to Wano were in the exact same circumstances as Team Luffy when they went to Whole Cake Island? What would their adventures would be like? Like, what would Zoro do in Luffy's shoes? Or what would Robin do in Nami's shoes? That kind of stuff. So, and there's interesting stuff to parallel with. But from here, it's pure on speculation because no one knows what's going to happen next. Okay, Joy Boy kind of knows. Roger's Base kind of knows. Flying Panda has his thoughts. Buggy has his thoughts. I have my thoughts. My thought would just be, you know, just kind of have just like one giant I like have Luffy stretch out Beiji's castle, drag someone in, and then everyone just pounds on whoever Luffy dragged in. That kind of ending. But here is speculation. So let's go out with a bang, and the biggest bang I can think of, where not Vegeta comes in and uses his big bang attack. No, for this ending, for this alternate timeline ending, the purest fan fiction ending. Is that there's going to be one more big plot twist. And this is where Kinemon makes his grand return to the story. Yeah, we all thought that the explosion took care of him when he fought Tamago or Count Chicken. And once he, maybe he could have just appear from, maybe he could appear inside the castle with Beige, and he's like, is everyone ready? Or another scenario would be, he's at the wedding, he was in a disguise, he took it off, and has a spare mirror on him. And it's like, everyone, I'm here, let's go now! And then meanwhile, everyone on Big Mom's crew is just like, what? How is this possible? What's going on here? So then we have a flashback, right when everyone's questioning how Kinemon got there. We have a flashback where we see the aftermath of that explosion from Kinemon fighting Count Chicken. After that, after the explosion, we see Kinemon get up slowly, just oh, that hurt, and he starts wandering again. Except when he gets to maybe an edge of a tower or whatever, he notices Team Zoro, they just made their prison break, and they're rushing through the crowds, fighting Big Mom's army, but this time in full force, making their escape. And Kinemon's like, hey, I found you guys! So Kinemon follows the breadcrumb of bodies on the floor. He follows the fighting up to Beij's hideout. And what we didn't see before is after the plan was formed, Kinemon does come in. And everyone's like, Kinemon, you're alive! And Kinemon's like, yeah, I am alive. And Beijing, or Jinbei, or Law, anyone smart in the room, takes advantage of this. It's like, wait a minute. Everyone, including us, thought you were dead. No one would be expecting you tomorrow at all. So Kinemon could be made as a trump card, as a true spare. If the plan ever truly failed, if there was no escape route, if the missiles didn't work, they needed an emergency escape plan. This is where Kinemon would come back from the grave miraculously to provide that one last little escape for Team Zoro. And it's just Kinemon's all right, whatever it takes to get out of here. Whatever it takes to win the fight, as I would say. So we now cut back to the present. And Kinemon's he has a spare mirror. Brule on the other side, all that. And it's everyone, it is time to go. And everyone realizes, all right, yeah, it's time to leave right now. So we have one last epic wide shot panel of everyone just bursting out of Big Father's front door. Everyone just charging through, and Big Mom's crew is take them all! And for the sake of this, I'm thinking, everyone else is thinking right now, Beijing's gonna die. I don't think he can just easily turn back from Big Father to Beijing without a consequence. He might die from this. He might die protecting everyone. Whatever. But I think he won't survive, and I'm just gonna leave that here too. I don't think he's gonna survive in this alternate timeline. So while that castle crumbles, everyone is rushing towards the escape mirror, the emergency escape. And we can have some really cool shots where maybe Robin is growing arms or legs out of the ground just to push people back, or maybe just take on some attacks so that others aren't shot or blasted apart. Oh yeah, and at this part, maybe Law is using shambles, or maybe he's just creating a room where he's slicing attacks up in half. Everyone's just doing their best to survive and get to the mirror. And of course, everyone, Vinsmoke's included, Sanji, Team Zoro, the samurai, the ninja as well, everyone just jumps through the mirror. This emergency escape mirror. Big Mom makes one last lunge, is Straw Hats! And then, right when everyone jumps through the mirror, I think either Brule gets knocked out or they make Brule not use her power at all. And Brule, the mirror just suddenly goes from a portal into the mirror world, just turn into a regular mirror. So that literally at the last second, Big Mom launches her fist, She just breaks through the mirror. She doesn't go inside the mirror world. She just broke the one pathway that they could use to go after Team Zoro. And realizing that, Big Mom just like lets out one more scream, but this time in full control of her emotions, full control of her rage, just lets it all out. And she just goes, no! And then Team Zoro make it through the mirror world, and they get out of the mirror. They reach the submarine. Everyone makes it out scot-free. The Vince Smoke family, Judge Vince Smoke, is looking at Sanji like, you saved our life when we were about to be killed. You know what? Fine. You get to leave, Sanji, and I'll hire or I'll post bodyguards to Zeph or whatever. I don't... Again, speculation, purest fan fiction, whatever. But basically, everyone makes it out. Everyone has the potential to make it out. Beijing did not make it out. He died horribly. Horrifically, I might add. One of the biggest negatives. Because we need to keep Jinbei alive, ladies and gentlemen. He must live. So everyone lives. Big Mama's obviously pissed. And Morgan, the Big Bird news reporter, gets the scoop that he's always wanted. He just saw, like, the Straw Hats. Not even the captain, but the Straw Hat crew itself just dealt a blow to Big Mom's entire operation and legitimately made her angry. Like, they actually launched a personal attack against her on a level that no one has ever really done on a Yonko before. So that's like the biggest scoop of the century for him. And the news that would travel the world would just make the Straw Hats even more important now. And with that would be what I would think happened if Team Zoro went to Whole Cake Island instead of Team Luffy. The end. At least until the next arc comes around. So that was the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Fortunately, I didn't get anyone else to jump in on this chat and participate. But you know what? This was a lot of fun to talk about. True, my voice might be just a tad bit dying now. How long have I been talking? How long has this video been made? Hold on, let me just check the Jesus! I'm currently at like an hour and 21 minutes. Oh my god! Oh my god! But yes, that was the video. This has been the stream. I will definitely do more like this. I will definitely do more what ifs. True, they might seem pure fan fiction, but they're fun to do. They're fun to discuss. Maybe, hopefully, next time I get some friends along to talk about. Just so you know, next time I do this, I don't have a dying voice. I guess the only thing left is the quickest update possible. Top 25 One Piece villains, 10 through 6. It's coming very, 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 very soon. Like, very soon. Not immediately after this, of course not. Just need a few days more to get the footage for number 6's slot. Just sync it all up. And then that will be released. And after that, we only got 5 slots left. 5 through 1 after 10 through 6. I'm really excited about this. Yeah. Man, I just had another brain freeze right there. Yes, that's coming out soon. Part 4, whatever. 10 through 6 slots of One Piece villains. It's going to be coming very soon. Almost done there. Then we only got 5 through 1 to get through. And 5 through 1 villains, they are probably exactly who you think they are. I can't stress it enough. It's who you think it is. It's really who you think it is. It's Frieza. But yeah, that was a stream. Hopefully I do more what ifs. Maybe it won't be just One Piece exclusive. But on that note, thank you so much for watching this. If you lasted even more than like 10 seconds just hearing me talk about all this nonsense, if you lasted like even 5 seconds just hearing me babble on for over an hour and 20 minutes, I salute you, and I cannot thank you enough, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor. I hope you enjoyed the the feature-length movie of Trevor Tiger, the monologue nonsense babbling feature movie presentation, rated R, this Friday. I can't even do my snake voice anymore. It's that gone. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I will see all of you legends next time. Take care.